They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Huh. So they're, buffing the burning Maul super. Probably barely a buff at all.
Yes! Look at them fall! Triple down! Was that all of them? That was all of them!
Greetings all, my name is Kontrol. I'm a professional artist, a huge fan of classic comics, and a veteran of the Crucible. Okay, the math tells me there is a very real possibility you've never played Destiny in your life and have no idea what a Crucible even is. Truth be told, many Guardians who play Destiny every day avoid Crucible like an overdue credit card bill. So, explain. Crucible is Destiny's version of player versus player. The arena where the bravest and the strongest go in search of gaming's most gratifying pastime. The defeat and humiliation of fellow gamers.
Oh, no!
Why am I talking about this? Well, this pinup is about Guardian super attacks. Well, one very specific super that was added for the Titan class in the beginning of year 2 of Destiny 2. Now, super attack meters that player characters build up over time are nothing new to video games, but they're particularly relevant to Destiny Crucible, and to me personally, because the Crucible is where I spend by far the majority of my time in the game. Long story short, I hate super attacks in the Crucible. Okay, too short. I'll keep going.
There's a shocker.
Destiny PvP has a lot of fantastic things going for it. Guardians of all classes have great vertical mobility. They can't fly exactly, although solar warlocks are getting pretty close. But the jumping abilities of each class force players to keep an eye on the sky when enemies are approaching from behind corners. Your ever-present radar helps you calculate both enemy direction and proximity, but certain class abilities and grenades confuse the radar, making it not 100% reliable. This adds a strategic element where good players can deliberately cause a reliance on radar to backfire on enemies. Guardians come equipped with element-specific melee abilities to settle close encounters, many of which synergize with the exotic armor to enable unique buffs and powers in battle. Bungie went nuts with the different types of grenades you can toss around the arena. Unlike Halo, the grenades won't kill another full health Guardian in one bang, but they're way more interesting in the way they can affect the battle arena. Basically, grenades are used in Crucible to shift the advantage of confrontation to your favor. Best practice is to learn what each grenade does and toss them strategically. Destiny equips players with a vast selection of weapons to take into combat. The scope of weapon types, perks, barrel options, scopes, special abilities, etc. It's so insanely wide it basically defies description. I know it defies description because I just failed to describe it. These are just some of the big reasons I keep coming back to Destiny Crucible to get my daily fix of senseless murder and mayhem. Guardian Supers are the big reason my rage kicks in every time. They are just plain obnoxious. All the excellent gunfire and fair combat goes out the window for insta-kill cheese. In a 6 versus 6 match, the Supers show usually starts about 2 minutes in. It creates a circus that it barely resembles the shooter you were just playing.
But Kontrol, didn't Bungie nerf supers a few weeks ago to make them less bulletproof?
Yes, Mello. It now takes slightly less damage to kill rampaging roaming supers in Crucible.
Well, that's good, right?
No! First of all, roaming supers like Spectral Blades, Fist of Havoc, Nova Warp, they kill you instantly. Assuming you've even got the guy in your sights, the odds of putting them down before they close the distance and delete you is extremely slim because of the buff to movement speed. Basically, your only outs are being with teammates who all open fire, retaliating with your own super if it's ready, or, my preferred technique, hide like little girl. If you'll excuse me. Oh no.
Did you leave the door open again?
Supers ain't nothing to be afraid of. Whacking punks out of Roman super is simply a matter of shooting accuracy. Just open fire, and make sure every round hits them square in the dome. You'll put them in the ground in 0.7 seconds, and be back at the tower eating ramen in 1.2. Or are you saying that level of shooting is beyond your level of ability? Let's find out.
Oh no!
Yeah, so supers are annoying, not because they're hard to take down, but because they're going off way too often. Most matches have 2 waves of the super show, where you have to combat 6 deadly nuclear attacks that render pretty much everything you're holding useless. The only upside here, you do get your turn, and it's easy to understand the appeal of a super attack against helpless foes when you're the one serving up the cheap carnage. Now, the Destiny Forsaken DLC delivered 3 new super attacks for each Guardian class, and I originally gravitated to the Sentinel Shield for my Void Element Titan. A decently effective super that turns your Titan into Captain America. No word yet on whether Titans abandon their duty and go back in time to hook up with old girlfriends. I'm sorry, I'm still bitter over Endgame. I really what were they thinking? I only tried out the Solar Titan Code of the Devastator. By the way, is that not the coolest name ever? I tried that when the buff for the Burning Maul Super was implemented in the Season of Dawn DLC a few weeks ago. Basically, the Burning Maul Slam is harder to avoid now. The super itself also lasts way longer. If that doesn't sound like much of a buff, well, you need to see this thing in action. Burning Maul Slam is one of those video game attacks that runs along the ground until it finds something or someone to blow the hell up. In Crucible, this attack has some impressive tracking and pretty good range. It seems to catch enemy guardians off guard quite a bit too, as there's a tendency to underestimate the danger at hand. Yes, I've been on the receiving end of it too. It occasionally will stop where it shouldn't at invisible walls, but it's mostly reliable. More so than the Sentinel Shield, from what I've seen. Now, drawing a Titan on fire necessitated a bit of a stylistic departure for maximum impact. So, I opted for what I call my Frank Miller Sin City aesthetic. My original plan was to go with actual ink instead of lead shading, but I got cold feet. Hopefully the pinup itself still has the desired effect.
This is amazing!
Alright then. As I mentioned at the very end of my McCree video, our fiery friend here was drawn to fulfill a promise to a commenter. Proof indeed that commenting on Kontrol Incorporated videos is something all humanity must do. Don't forget to also subscribe and to share. We're trying to grow this channel, see? And most of all, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
I've recorded your session for the rookies. They'll have no excuses for sloppy technique.